So I milled this bowl, boy, a while ago. Don't even know when. But I milled this quite a while ago, and it has a pretty thin rim. So putting it on, you know, a bigger chuck, expanding it may crack it. Anyway, it needs a little bit more work and smoothing. So I'm going to get it back on here. Oops, wrong way. That's not so easy to do one-handed. Yeah, I know some people can, but I'm not one of them. Close. I'm going to tighten it up on that tenon. Make sure it looks smooth. And then I'm going to use a negative rake scraper to smooth out this inside. If you look at this inside, it's not perfect. So it needs just to be smoothed out, and or maybe just sanded. Maybe just sanding will do the trick. And it will, I might damage it. This is very thin, so I don't want to break it. So I'm going to just try sanding it. See how that goes. So I'm going to start with this one, and this is 120, I think. And it's at a slow speed. It's running very true. Turn that off. I'm going to turn it up a little bit, speed-wise. So now it's at about 500 RPM. Getting better. I'm going to use a new piece of sandpaper. So what I do to save sandpaper is I'll take an 8.5 by 11, cut it into quarters, and then cut one side of it so I can fold this in, and then fold that in. So it's always, the sandpaper is always against paper, and it keeps it from destroying it. So. And there's definitely a difference there. I'm going to turn this on and try again. See how that looks. Much better. Oop, got some edges in there. Those are pretty deep. Just keep working on it. Coming up a little. feels pretty smooth. Not so much on the inside. Alright, let's check that out. Yeah. That's pretty good. Let's try the 220 now. Feels nice. Okay. Let's go with 600. Yes, I've jumped a few steps. Well, the milling's not perfect, but feels pretty nice. Now taking it off and trying to mill off that tenon, I've never done it, so we'll see. This thing. I could put that in there like that and try it. I'm a little concerned about squeezing this thin edge, so I want to try it a different way. And possibly just pushing it up against that. Yeah, maybe see how far I can open it and then put something soft in there. We'll see. So maybe something like this on there. That. That's pretty soft. Let's bring the tailstock up. Turn this on low and see if it's yeah, see, I'm holding my finger steady and it's intermittent, so that's not. I'm not sure how it affects that. Let's see. Let's turn that off. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Now I gotta put like a little foot on this and then carve out some of the inside. So I think I'm gonna use that pointy carbide tip, because I'm a little leery about grabbing too much. Referring to this tool right here. This is very sharp. In fact, I cut myself with it and it's wicked. That's too high. This level has to be level with the center. So this has to, the tool rest has to come down quite a bit, probably there. Let's see. Yeah. I can turn it up. Remember, this is the first. I think I'm going to try the small finger chisel. Well, I don't know what it's called. This one. Alright, I'm going to try and sharpen this guy. Okay, sharpened. I don't know if this moved. No, that's pretty tight. Doesn't feel. It's my way down again. It's close enough. Okay, let's do some sanding. Well, it definitely gouged out. I think the nature of this, and I think this might be poplar, but it tends to be soft. Alright, it's got some, I don't know how to get rid of that. Some wood's just inherently not great to work with. Okay, let's get this back in there. Okay, let's see if I can sand that. Yep, that's gonna come off. Let's move this. That thing is heavy. That ain't gonna stay. Okay. Not great. Not great, but just sand that by hand or with a drill and see how much I can get that smoothed out. That's a good way to break it. So it didn't break, and it has some inherent problems. Nothing I could ever sell. Not that I'm looking to sell, but it's kind of boring. And I was wondering if there was something I could do to make this more interesting. So I thought about dyeing it. I have this red dye. I thought that might help. So I'll try that. These are our nitrile gloves. So, get those on. This is Cardinal Red Transfest dye. Alright. Okay. And put this down. I'm going to use a brush. Some of that. Wipe it off. Okay, let me get a brush. Just gonna try and pull out some of these loose hairs. Let's do the bottom first. Okay. That's definitely a distraction from what it was. There's some. Okay. Right. It's a little more interesting. Let that dry and think about what else we can do to help it. Maybe I can reuse these gloves. I don't even think I got this one. Messy. Now that one looks okay too. Well, it's tough to tell with the black. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's like this area in here that is off-colored. I have absolutely no idea why that is that way, except maybe this has got glue in it at some point in time. The whole bottom looks even, but the inside not so much. So making me think, yeah, it's still a little wet. I'm getting red on my fingers. Maybe I need to do something black in there so that doesn't show up. Let's see what I got. So I have this black acrylic paint. I've had this for quite some time. But I think it'll go right over the top of that red. Let's see. Well, yeah. And doing this is gonna, dabbing it like this is going to give it interesting texture. Trying to make it all the way up to the rim. And I could feel the bottom of this where the red dye is. It feels, I want to say feathery, but it's not smooth. Like the dye has raised the grain. So I'm going to need to sand that again, I think, once it's fully dried. I won't do anything to the inside though. So this is starting to look very Asian, you know, with the red and the black. Guess I could have used a different color on the inside, but I didn't. Okay. All right. That's not looking bad. Okay, wash my hands, put this to sleep, let it dry and come back. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's definitely texture on the inside and the outside. It looks okay. I'm just going to sand it, and then I'm going to use a buffing, it's called Wax and Buff, I think. I'll show you. It's actually called Feed and Wax. And I'll put that on the outside and sand it at the same time. And that should finish it. And I might make a top for it, I might not. Kind of like to do that, but we'll see. So I put this Feed and Wax on here and it darkened it. It might dry a little bit more, but you know, it looks pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that compared to what it was. And I'm just going to leave it like that. No top, just as is.